looking at these numbers, and they just don't come out right.
What numbers?
Well, maybe it's because your mother's over there in Ireland, but I've been giving a lot of thought to what it's going to take to restore the Calleary farm.
Thought or worry?
Well, probably a little of both. Look, sweetheart, I am no authority on farming. I'm a city boy. I grew up with the pavement under my feet, right? But I've read books about farm life. I've seen the movies. And I just wonder if restoring the farm isn't going to be more than I bargained for.
Cost more money?
Well, take the well, for instance.
What well?
Well, that's just the point. Nobody said a word about it, but here's a 25-year-old well. Now, how do we know it's going to be deep enough for today?
Oh.
And then the access road. Now, from that picture your Aunt Annie showed us, it's an old dirt lane. Now, if this is going to be a working farm again, shouldn't you do something about the road?
You're asking me?
No, I'm asking myself, really. I promised the Callearys $70,000, and that's stretching me to my limit. I've got $20,000 of my money. It's really mine and your mother's, and I'm going to have to, well, borrow the rest on the bar.
Remortgage the bar?
Yeah, well, it's the only way. And then I keep going back to these numbers, and then I start saying to myself, supposing $70,000 isn't enough. I mean, supposing it's going to cost $2,000 more for this or $4,000 more for that. Suppose it's going to come to $80,000. I'll be in debt up to my neck.
$80,000? I get nervous when I owe 10. 10.00.
Well, I'm glad of that.
Daddy, maybe you took on more than you can manage. Perhaps you should reconsider.
Oh, I can't do that to your mother and the Callearys now.
Well, better a little embarrassment than financial hot water. Hot water is no fun to be in.
You still feeling guilty about that brick throwing incident last night?
I don't know if I took the responsibility or it was thrust upon me by Mary and Jack, but I do feel responsible. Maybe I am responsible.
Ah, sweetheart, come on. Stop worrying about what Jack said. You wanted to help Ethel's friends, and you stood by him, and I'm proud of you for that.
Siobhan, all right, no sense, and girl's got plenty of guts.
Well, you did what you had to do. But now that it looks like it's a little more than we bargained for, maybe you should back off a little, huh?
Daddy, it looks like I'm gonna have to. They've got me pretty well convinced that C&P Realty's too big even for me to mess around with.
All right, so let the DA figure out what it's all about, or else answer to Frank for it.
Yeah, I just hope that DA's office can work fast enough to get hot water and heat to those people fast.
Hey, Finelli! You feeling better this morning?
Things always seem a little better in the daylight, Johnny. Morning, Siobhan. What are you doing, income tax?
No, I'm just, amusing myself, figuring out things to do for the Calleary farm.
Ah, according to Mary, that's a big undertaking.
Well, it's an investment in family, Jack. There's no better place to put your money.
You know, Johnny, I have to hand it to you. You always talk family. Now you're really putting your money where your mouth is. Huh?
Good morning, everybody. Now stand fast because I am up to here with the news of the day. For the good guys, huh? Hey, you know my baby Eric?
Hey, Eric, how are you, lad?
Hi.
Eric, come here. Sit yourself right down here and tell us
Okay.
about it. Eric, I got something for you. Sit down on my stool and cast your eye on the contents of this platter. Have one.
So what is it, total victory?
Well, I don't know if it was the call that Senator Ryan put to the district attorney's office or whether it was Wes Leonard's newspaper article or whether they just thought your baby was going to hang in there till hell froze over. But we have a miracle.
They're gonna rebuild the boilers?
Honey, those 5 boilers are working. They are putting out heat and hot water, and you talk about happy people.
Yes.
Look, maybe it was some lousy kid that threw that brick last night and had nothing to do with the rent strike.
Wouldn't count on that, Johnny.
What brick?
Oh, we were having a farewell party for Mother last night before she and my aunt went on this trip, and somebody threw a brick, through our parlor window.
C&P Realty, I bet.
Well, that's what we assume.
No, we don't know that for sure, Jack.
Well, what does it matter now? We've got heat and hot water for 60 families.
Well, almost 60, 4 buildings out of 5. Hey, but you know my friend Dorothy, right? Well, the boiler in her building is sort of working, but it's choking everybody to death, you know? It's not giving off much heat, you know?
Well, I don't suppose there's a super around.
Nobody you can call, no.
Well, that figures.
Oh, Mr. Ryan, tell me, how are you with boilers?
Well, not so bad. I mean, I keep the old boiler downstairs working all these years. Oh, no, I can't. I'm waiting for Kevin to come in and relieve me, and the missus is away. Maybe later this afternoon when Kevin comes in. How about that?
I could take a look at it for you, Ethel, if you like.
Oh, please, what do you know about boilers, huh?
Hey, before I was a newspaperman, I used to work on the docks. Before I was a dock worker, I did a lot of things. One of which I was an assistant superintendent in an old building down on South Street. You want me to take a look at the boiler?
Yeah. Listen, I have to get Eric to school, so why don't I write down the address here for you? That's enough, Eric, okay? All you gotta do is just walk right in. That front door is always open, all right?
Is there any reason why I can't go along?
I don't know if it would be safe.
Safe? It's morning, Jack. Nothing happens in the morning. And besides, Lieutenant Hayes assigned a special car to that building, so we'd have official protection.
What about your job?
Oh, I can be late. They owe me 3 days' pay and overtime already. And I can look at the other buildings and say hi to Dorothy.
Well, I guess we'd be okay.
Terrific!
Well, look, I got to get Eric off to school. And tell you what, why don't I double back and check on you, okay?
Oh, neat.
Mr. Ryan, listen, how much do I owe you?
No. Forget it. It's on the house.
Oh, no, you know that's not right.
Oh. Listen, you're in my living room. You can't pay a man for 2 crullers eating in his front parlor.
You know, I'm not going to win with you.
No, you're not.
Okay. Thank you, Mr.
You're
Ryan.
welcome.
I really have to get him to school. Come on, you know you don't want to be late for math.
So long, Eric. Bye-bye.
Bye.
See you later.
Careful.
See ya.
See you later.
Hey, Eric.
Hey, nice catch.
So long.
Bye.
This is so good. Those boilers, all of them working. Frank's gonna be so pleased.
Four the boiler is working.
Well, you're gonna fix the last one. I don't know why, but I have complete confidence in you.
Sweetheart, why don't you give me a call later and tell me how it all turned out, all
Sure.
right?
Well, finale. Ready?
Let's go. Take care, John.
Yeah. Maybe I should check with Frank about all of this.
Good morning, Senator Ryan.
Hi, Ray. How are you?
Fine. How are you?
Good. Up to my ears, though.
Oh, dear. I'm sorry to hear that, because I have one more item which needs your immediate attention.
One more item, huh? That's just what I need.
Last straw, huh?
Oh, yeah.
Missed you last night.
Yeah, I'm sorry I couldn't be with you, Ray, but that damn meeting didn't get out until 12:15.
So I heard.
I know. You've got spies everywhere.
I'd just like to know what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
It is a pity you couldn't be there. There were 2 experts on the Middle Eastern situation. It was fascinating.
Well, then that's 2 reasons then why I'm sorry I wasn't there.
Tonight, 2 of us, tete-a-tete.
Yeah.
Nice.
I have the whole evening off.
I don't think there's something spectacular to do.
Knowing you. Now, what's that one last item?
Oh, yeah. Dave Feldman was on the phone this morning at 7 o'clock. He has 2 state committee men in rebellion, and he is desperate for some straight talk from you about party discipline.
Well, I had my phone unplugged, but there was a message when I came in from him.
Yeah, he's very upset about it.
Well, what can I do, Ray? I mean, I can't let Dave down, but I certainly don't have the time to be going back to New York for something like that.
Nor should you. You don't go to them, they come to you, hat in hand. I think what you should do is send a personal representative to see them and get them to come down here.
Who are the people involved?
Mike McNally and, Julio Ortiz.
Well, no wonder Dave's upset. They're both old friends of his.
Yeah, so he said.
All right, I'll send Nancy Feldman up to find the 2 of them with a personal invitation to come down and see me. She knows them both, and a hand-delivered invitation will be hard or tough to refuse.
Good idea. And maybe just to be on the safe side, she could touch bases with as many of the committeemen in the New York metropolitan area as she can reach. Dave could go with her. He'd like that. Touring with his grown-up daughter, the senator's liaison person.
Well, that'll take a couple of days, but it sounds like it could pay off. I owe Dave.
Okay, then. Good. It's settled, and now we can turn our minds to pleasanter subjects, like our dinner tonight. Don't dress.
Ray,
Yeah?
I know you're not exactly enthusiastic about Nancy's working for me down here.
That was the case.
So this wouldn't be an ingenious ploy on your part to remove her for a few days now, would it?
Oh, Frank. Come on. If there's one thing you ought to know about me by now, it is that I don't carry grudges.
In our committee meetings, that's called an evasion.
Look, it was your idea to send her. I did not even mention Nancy's name. All I did was report to you on a problem which Dave presented to me at dawn.
And I found the obvious solution.
So, how does that label what I did a ploy?
Somehow, I'm not quite convinced. Jeannie, would you ask Nancy Feldman to step in for a moment or two? Thank you.
Look, it's the obvious solution, but it's up to you. You wanted me? Hello, Ray. Morning, Nancy.
Listen, Nancy, I've got a job for you. A couple of your father's cronies seem to be suffering from a sudden attack of excessive ambition, so I'm going to send them invitations to come down and see me. Now, what I want you to do is to go up and deliver those invitations in person.
Okay, sure.
You know them both. Mike McNally, Julio Ortiz.
Oh, of course. Well, when do you want me to go?
As soon as possible.
Okay, go up there, deliver the invitations, make sure they're accepted, and then catch the afternoon shuttle back?
No, I want you to stay for a couple of days and touch base with as many of the local state committeemen as you can possibly reach. Talk to your father about it. See if he can clear time to, well, to go along with you. He'll like it. Good old Dave. He has to show the flag for me, Nance. There has to be party discipline up there, or everything will fall apart.
A couple of days.
It'll be a real treat for Dave, having you home, showing you off. Believe me, I wouldn't ask you to do it if I didn't think it was worth doing.
Okay, I'll be on my way.
Great. I'll dictate the invitations and we can get you off.
Was this your idea, Mrs. Woodard?
Was what my idea, Nancy?
My going to New York for a couple of days?
Your father has a problem. He called this morning. I know you're glad to help. It's a change of scene for you. And certainly you'll be glad to spend a little time with your parents. Or am I wrong?
I call my parents several times a week, and I see them whenever I can. As it happens, I'm not anxious to go back to New York, especially for a couple of days.
I'm sorry to hear that, because it seemed to me that you would be especially valuable where you grew up and know so many people and have your political roots.
Ray.
Yes.
I couldn't help wondering. Are you hoping that I become a New York political expert?
As far as I'm concerned, Nancy, you already are a New York political expert.
I settled here in Washington, and I want this to be my base from now on.
As I understand it, you were hired to be the liaison between Frank's home office and here. However, I have nothing to do with the way he runs his operation.
You have everything to do with it.
Unofficially, as an advisor.
You advise Frank about all of us.
Oh, no, not that much. However, if he were to ask for my advice in this particular instance, I would have to tell him that I thought you'd be far more valuable there than here.
You know I have personal reasons for not wanting to be in New York.
I don't feel that personal consideration should come before the senator. If you dislike liaison assignments between New York and Washington so much, perhaps you should consider taking a job here in Washington. Another job. Something that would not require so many trips north.
That's a very thoughtful suggestion. But I have no intention of leaving Senator Ryan's staff.
May I assume that your reason for not wanting to be in New York has to do in part, at least with Frank's brother Pat?
If you don't mind, I'd rather not discuss my reasons.
Just trying to understand.
My impression is that you understand everything that's going on here.
Because if you did want to distance yourself from Patrick, it would seem to me that the first step would be to remove yourself from Frank's staff, where, obviously, from time to time, you would have to run into his brother.
Mrs. Woodard, that is entirely my personal business.
And I am very concerned with the personal situations of everyone who works for Frank.
My situation with Pat does not affect the senator in any way.
On the contrary, at this very moment, you are very reluctant to take an assignment which is important to Frank and your father, because it'll put you in the same city as Pat.
I'm sorry I said anything. I won't mention it again.
But you did, and we have to deal with it. Please consider, Nancy, if this really is the job for you. Because there is one thing I am certain of. For the next few weeks, you will be spending more and more time in New York.
Mrs. Woodard, I'm devoted to Senator Ryan. I love my job. And I have no intention of looking for anything else.
We'll see about that.
Yuck. What a place. It's heat. This place makes Johnny's basement look like a palace. Thank you. Oh.
I heard something.
Don't Don't let your imagination run away with you. Now, where the hell with a light? Here we go. Uh-huh. That better?
Much better.
Oh, wow, this baby is putting out too much heat.
Too much heat down here, not enough heat upstairs. Well, what does that mean?
It means something's wrong.
I think we could use another light.
Talk about fire traps. Fire inspector have a picnic down here.
Yeah. There's 10,000 violations in here. What are you doing?
I'm just trying to get the hang of this. I haven't seen one of these things.
Don't, it's too hot.
You're damn right, it's too hot.
Well, shouldn't you turn it down or something?
Yeah, but I want to see how it works first.
Okay, I'll be quiet. Do you have any idea what's wrong with it?
Yeah, actually I do. Look, you want to visit Dorothy while I fix it, you go ahead.
No, I'm tempted to, but I don't want to go through that basement up those stairs alone.
Okay, stick around.
God, I'm not going anyplace. Believe me, I'm sticking right here with you.
Meet 5 friends living it up in Louisville. They're breaking rules, rewriting tradition, and living life on their own terms. A new original reality series, Southern Bells Louisville, premieres this Thursday at 10 on SoapNet.